Obviously, you gotta put the ball in the basket. Playing captain, obvious there, but like the way the guys battle back after our first half of struggling mightily. Defensively, I thought we did some good things. Had them numbers-wise where we needed to have them, 20 points below their average, I think. But we got to be able to convert. And whether it's threes that were good looks, quick threes that were maybe too quick at times in the first half, thought we were much better the second half. Got to the free throw line, but obviously we got to convert when we're there and capitalize on those opportunities. So, as I told the guys, I can't yell you into making shots. I mean, I can get excited about a lot of other things, but that's one thing that you can't play in an enraged state or an amped up state. You got to relax and knock shots down. And we've seen nights when we have, and obviously this is one that we didn't. The silver lining is that a defense did keep us right where it needed to be and gave us a chance. But you got to score some points. So with that, I will take some questions.
Jeff. Greg, you mentioned the free throw shooting, and obviously Ethan's had struggles before, but what about the turnovers late? It was 49-47, I think they hit a tough shot, and then you guys turnover.
Yeah, I mean, I know Trice got stripped at midcourt, and then Brad threw one out. I got blocked. I didn't see if it was a kick or what when he was trying to bounce it on dribble penetration. And then again, Trice, I'll look and see what he saw on tape. But poor decisions that need to be better. And those, when you're in that position, you're in a two-possession game, and we're right there. You can't have that, those type of decisions and empty possessions.
Greg, this team played so well for the first couple of months, and 2 losses in a row now. What's your level of concern about whether this team can play with the consistency necessary to make it through the grind of, what could be the best conference in the country?
Well, I was probably more concerned after Saturday than today, just because defensively is always where we hang our hat, and we were much better tonight. We got to put the ball in the basket. That's an obvious statement I'm making there. But defensively, we were back to doing some better things. Not perfect, but they were, like I said, they're both half. They're below 1, which is our benchmark. So it just puts so much more pressure on your defense when you're not able to score. And I mean, that was as anemic as, I don't know if I'll have to look back through the records. I think we were .45 the first half. That's digging a deep hole. But credit our guys for battling back. I would say they made some plays down the stretch. Coffee's bucket that Jeff mentioned was a big play to get separation there. That was a tough shot. And then I would say we gave them 3 possessions there with turnovers that kind of broke our back. But this group has a will and a fight, so we'll make shots. We've got to make sure we continue to get the free throw line. They're there 17 times the second half. We got to be there 17 times the first half too, and that's a mentality and an aggressiveness at the rim we need to continue to evolve and get better with.
Yeah. Greg, Tino said obviously it was clear they were going to put App at the line late, make him earn his points there, and I asked Ethan, what's the only way is it as simple as just making shots to defeat that strategy? He said yes, but do you start weighing at any point, I know he's our best player, but if he can't make free throws, do we have him on the court?
Well, he does so many things for us in that position when you're trying to come from behind that, and sometimes we were running things for him, we were not running things for him at times. So it's not necessarily he's going to have the ball in his hands. I think the one they got him on an out of bounds play. He's got to make free throws, and he continues to work at it. We put him in different situations consistently in practice, and it's a hurdle. That's one of the final hurdles. As a great a player as he is, it's one of the final hurdles we got to help him get over and get through. So, but that's always a game by game decision if we ever get to that point.
This is kind of an extension of that question. What level of concern do you have with free throw shooting, especially with Ethan, but Nate missed a couple late too?
Well, Nate only missed 1, according to my stats,
Okay.
3 for 4. Khalil. You got to convert. I mean, we work on it in practice every single day. You got to improve some things. You got to relax when you go there, and it's different. Obviously, when the environment changes the mindset you go to the line with in games. Sometimes fatigue plays a factor, but they've got to continue to work at it and find a consistent rhythm, and then it's still a matter of making them when the lights are on, and that confidence of jumping over that hurdle is what specifically Ethan is continuing to strive towards.
Jim?
Greg, did you think you were a little stagnant in the first half at times, and did that change after halftime?
Well, I think stagnant may be a term that's thrown when the ball's not going in. I mean, I thought we got some decent looks in the first half. I thought we could have finished better around the rim in terms of some opportunities. We did not draw contact when we had people out of position, and we avoided it. But everything probably gets magnified when you're not making shots at that rate. I mean, there's not making shots, and then there's what we had the first half. That was at a whole other level. So that, I think, magnifies everything else and puts so much pressure on the other end of the floor. And then you start pressing a little bit, and trying to get it all back in one possession. And you can't play that way either. You have to chip away like we did in the second half. Chip away one possession at a time and give yourself a chance down the stretch.
Jeff?
Greg, I don't think anybody expected Dimitri to maintain the level he was at early in the season, but does he look like a guy who his shot isn't falling, and even though he's played a lot of games, it might be starting to affect him, and whether it's pressing or he's giving up some things defensively that he normally doesn't do?
Yeah, and when he was making shots, I never got consumed. And I know we probably had asked that question before, Jeff, and I didn't get too wound up in 60% from three. I got more consumed with what was he playing a complete game? Was he doing things to distribute the ball? Was he making good decisions? Was his defense better? Those things I was more consumed with. And knowing that 60% probably he wasn't gonna stay there. There was gonna be some ebb and flow throughout the year. There's gonna be some ups and downs. But it's the other things, as you mentioned, 4 turnovers and some defensive assignments that there were miscues there that we'll find on tape and continue to help him try to get better.
Just to add on to that, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think you guys have survived a game this season when he's had an off night. Is that coincidence, you think, or is him putting the ball in the basket maybe more important to this team than maybe you thought a few weeks ago?
Well, I think anytime anybody has an off night, they're going to try to correlate. He's a good player. So when he makes shots, it helps us. When Ethan Happ makes shots, it helps us. When Brad Davison makes shots, when Reavers plays well, it helps. I mean, I don't know if correlating him with going 1 for 6 tonight, is that the difference? I mean, 11 turnovers have something to do with it. Going 7% of team from the free throw line have something to do with it. So I don't like to always pinpoint one specific person and say that's the reason why we didn't have success tonight. It's a team, and we'll find things that we do really well together, and then there's things that we got to get better at and trying to become consistent. That's what we talked about after the game. It's we've done some really good things, but we've got to continue to play at a higher level for a complete 40 minutes, and then we'll get the results we want to get.
Okay, back.
Greg, what did you see from Nate tonight, especially in those 5 minutes when he was seemingly the only person who could hit a bucket?
Yeah, I thought he was much more physical in the paint. I thought he was, that's what I think Nate of the future will continue to look at as he gets more opportunities there. He goes 1 for 6 from 3, and yesterday he couldn't miss in practice. He had the exact same looks in the exact same situation, and everything was going in for him. So, but the nice thing is he didn't let that frustrate him in the first half. He got himself in the paint in the second half and got to the free throw line and energized us there as we made a push back. So, he's improving, and I like what he can do and the potential he can bring specifically in the paint. I think he's got a chance to be a pretty good and consistent player inside.
JR?
Coach, just curious, do you have an explanation on what Brad's technical foul was for?
Slapping the floor, which I didn't know there was a technical for slapping the floor, but they described it after halftime as an unsporting gesture or whatever, similar to slapping the backboard. I don't know, I'll have to do some research on finding that one in the rule book, but that's how it was described to me, as an unsporting demonstration.
Greg, when you look at the Big Ten this year and the way it performed in the non-conference season, how important is it to both serve at home? And does that make this doubly tough to take?
Well, yeah, it's always important. I mean, I don't think any year going through the Big Ten, Tom, you wanna hold serve at home as much as possible. Every game's important. Everybody knows how hard it is to win on the road. We've been able to do that earlier last month. So yeah, when you don't get one at home, it's, home is one thing, but it's one of the 20 games that you let slip away. So, you know, we've gotta find a way to get better regardless of where we play. It'll quickly turn, and we gotta go to Penn State on Sunday and see if we can be better. So, yeah, you definitely wanna win them at home, but, it's a long gauntlet, and hopefully you can get a few on the road as well to balance anything that maybe slips away from you at home.
Anything else for Coach? Okay.
All right, thanks.
Coach.